First, let me take you through Tina Brown's reporting. She writes, at clearly taking a toll on William, who thought that he had finally moved away from all of the psychodrama with Prince Harry. His brother had made his decision. He was going to be exiled and everything anyway. And I know he's going through a lot, but seriously, if he still goes ahead with this meeting, P. Dinah, I really think he needs his head read.
Absolutely. A brotherhood shattered, a monarchy at stake. When Harry's memoir Spare hit shelves in January 2023, it didn't just spill family secrets. It detonated a bomb under the royal household. William's response wasn't emotional. It was cold, calculated, institutional. Insiders whisper he won't even allow Harry's name in certain discussions. What looks like a family feud is really a battle for the survival of the monarchy itself. And once you see the pattern of events, you'll understand why reconciliation may never come.
Well, William thought that everyone was with him, and all of a sudden, it's flipped on its head. And so I want to take you through this reporting from Charlotte Griffiths.
According to royal correspondent Charlotte Griffiths, William has become so resolute in his position that palace insiders report he won't tolerate even the mention of Harry's name in certain contexts. Veteran royal journalist Tina Brown noted that this situation is taking a toll on William, who thought he had finally moved away from all of this psychodrama with Prince Harry. What we're witnessing isn't an emotional outburst or temporary family friction. This represents institutional decision-making at the highest level, and understanding why requires examining the pattern of events that led to this extraordinary moment.
That they are just exiled from the conversation, a non-person. And William was comfortable in this zone, but what's happened now is, of course, Harry's back in the country. Harry's seeing his father.
Consider the royal wedding of May 19th, 2018. While millions watched what appeared to be a modern fairy tale at St. George's Chapel, those versed in royal protocol noticed something unusual. Royal tradition dictates that family members curtsy or bow to the monarch, a gesture repeated countless times at royal events. Sources suggest that the absence of this expected protocol during certain moments didn't go unnoticed by senior royals, particularly William, who understands that within the institution of monarchy, these gestures carry weight far beyond mere etiquette.
Harry now, and this is the headline from the Mail's reporting. If you mention him, he'll throw you out of the room, while William is more determined than ever to cut Harry out of his life, as Charlotte Griffiths reveals how he's been driven.
The wedding itself represented something of a departure. The guest list read like a Hollywood premiere: Oprah Winfrey, George Clooney, Serena Williams, alongside traditional aristocracy. The ceremony incorporated a gospel choir and American cultural elements rarely seen in Windsor Castle. For modernizers, this signaled refreshing change. For traditionalists within the institution, it raised questions about the balance between evolution and preservation.
With William about their events clashing, which has happened all of this week. And of course, you know, William is furious. He's in no mood to repair.
Royal historian Marlene Koenig has pointed out that successful integration into the royal family requires understanding that the institution operates on principles refined over centuries. The monarchy survives not through radical reinvention, but through careful, measured adaptation. What appeared to be minor stylistic choices during the wedding would, in retrospect, form the first threads of a larger pattern. In the months following the wedding, public enthusiasm remained high.
Somebody out of the room if they mentioned his name.
I mean, Brittany, quite a lot for you to pick up on there, but it isn't a surprise to me at all, as I have.
The Duke and Duchess of Sussex launched initiatives, undertook tours, and appeared frequently in media coverage. Yet behind the scenes, according to palace sources cited by multiple royal correspondents, tensions were developing within the institutional framework.
And she writes, Prince William has doubled down on his resolve to cut Prince Harry out of his life in the wake of his brother's Clarence House rapprochement with the king. It's been
By early 2019, reports began surfacing about household staff departures and operational difficulties within the Sussex establishment. Royal author Tom Quinn later noted that the turnover rate among personal staff raised eyebrows among palace veterans who understood that successful royal operations require stable, experienced teams who understand both the family and the institution.
William believes that Harry should be treated as a royal exile. He should never return. And so, yeah, I guess that does mean he is a non-person.
The announcement in January 2020 that Harry and Meghan intended to step back as senior royals came without the usual palace coordination. Royal expert Robert Lacey described this period as one of institutional crisis, with palace officials scrambling to address a situation that required extensive constitutional and practical consideration. The concept of being half in, half out, maintaining royal titles while pursuing commercial ventures, presented challenges that the institution ultimately determined were incompatible with traditional royal roles. The subsequent Sandringham Summit in January 2020 involved the Queen, Prince Charles, Prince William, and Prince Harry, without wives or advisors present. What emerged was a framework. Harry and Meghan would step back from official duties, lose their HRH styling in official contexts, and pursue independent lives while retaining certain titles. At the time, this appeared to be a workable compromise. The March 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey represented a turning point. Broadcast to a global audience of millions, the interview contained allegations about royal family members that could not be addressed publicly without creating an unseemly back and forth. The palace's brief response, some recollections may vary, became one of the most analyzed statements in modern royal history. Royal biographer Andrew Morton, who has chronicled royal upheaval since his groundbreaking Diana biography, observed that the interview created a predicament for William specifically. As second in line to the throne, he couldn't engage in public dispute, yet the allegations demanded some form of response. His solution was brief and direct. When asked by reporters, he stated simply that the royal family was very much not a racist family, then moved on. That restraint, sources suggest, was strategic rather than passive. The September 2022 death of Queen Elizabeth II necessitated a temporary united front. Images of William and Harry, along with their wives, viewing floral tributes together at Windsor suggested possible reconciliation. Palace insiders indicate, however, that the appearance of unity served institutional necessity during mourning rather than representing genuine rapprochement. When Spare was published in January 2023, it became the fastest-selling nonfiction book in history. The memoir contained intimate details of royal family life, including specific incidents involving William. One passage described a physical altercation between the brothers in which Harry alleged William grabbed him by the collar and knocked him to the floor. For William, according to sources who spoke to Charlotte Griffiths, this wasn't simply an invasion of privacy. It was a fundamental breach of family trust published for commercial gain. The memoir's success generated substantial revenue, but the institutional cost within the family structure appears to have been permanent. Royal author Tina Brown has reported that following the memoir's publication, William's position hardened considerably. The meetings at Balmoral, the Queen's Scottish estate that represents the family's most private retreat, reportedly involved intense discussions among King Charles, Queen Camilla, William, and Catherine about the path forward. What emerged, according to multiple royal correspondents, was a clear framework that some have characterized as William's three-phase approach to managing the Sussex situation going forward. The first element involves title assessment. While Harry and Meghan retain their Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles, there has been ongoing discussion about whether these titles should remain if the couple continues commercial ventures that trade on royal association. William reportedly takes the position that royal titles carry responsibilities and shouldn't be leveraged for personal brand building. The second element concerns institutional involvement. Since stepping back, the Sussexes have not been invited to participate in official royal events beyond those requiring their attendance as family members. Major ceremonial occasions like Trooping the Colour or state visits have proceeded without them. This represents a clear boundary between working royals and those who have chosen different paths. The third element relates to historical narrative. How the Sussex chapter will be remembered in official royal history remains to be written. William's focus, sources indicate, is on ensuring that the institution's perspective, emphasizing duty, service, and constitutional role, remains central to any historical accounting. The Princess of Wales has historically played a mediating role during family tensions. Those who know her describe someone deeply committed to family unity, who remembers the young princes walking behind their mother's coffin and has always hoped the brothers could maintain their bond. Yet according to sources cited by royal correspondents, Catherine has increasingly aligned with William's institutional perspective. Having dedicated years to understanding royal protocol and responsibility, she reportedly shares his concern that the monarchy's credibility depends on maintaining clear boundaries about what royal status means and how it should be used. As of late 2024 and early 2025, the situation remains largely frozen. Harry has made brief visits to the UK for specific events, including his father's coronation in May 2023, but these have been carefully managed, brief appearances rather than extended family time. Reports suggest minimal private interaction between the brothers during these occasions. Tina Brown's recent reporting indicates that Harry's visits to see his father have occurred, but that William has remained resolute in his position that reconciliation requires more than family connection. It requires addressing the institutional concerns raised by public statements and commercial ventures. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have continued developing their media presence through their Archewell Foundation, podcast ventures, and Netflix projects. However, several of these initiatives have concluded or been restructured, leading to questions about the long-term sustainability of their brand positioning. To understand William's position requires recognizing how he views his role. He is not simply a brother managing a family dispute. He is the heir to a 1,000-year institution that survives through adaptability, balanced with consistency. Every decision carries implications, not just for current relationships, but for how future generations will operate. Royal experts note that William has studied his grandmother's reign carefully. Elizabeth II's genius lay in knowing when to adapt and when to hold firm. Her handling of various family crises, from abdication to divorce to Diana's death, demonstrated that institutional preservation sometimes requires difficult personal choices. William appears to have concluded that the monarchy cannot function with ambiguity about who represents it and under what terms. The half-in, half-out model proposed in 2020 has been definitively rejected. You either serve the institution under its terms, or you pursue independent life without trading on institutional association. This situation extends beyond one family relationship. It raises fundamental questions about modern monarchy. Can it accommodate members who wish to retain status while rejecting traditional constraints? How does an ancient institution navigate celebrity culture and commercial media? Where are the boundaries between personal life and public role? William's approach suggests his answer. The institution must have clear parameters. Royal status brings privilege, but also obligation. You cannot simultaneously criticize the institution publicly while benefiting from association with it. Unlike previous royal rifts that eventually mended through time and family bonds, this situation appears fundamentally different. It's not based on temporary emotional conflict, but on divergent visions of what royal life should be. Harry and Meghan have built a life based on personal authenticity and speaking their truth, values particularly resonant in contemporary American culture. William operates from an institutional framework where personal feelings subordinate to constitutional role, a very British, very royal perspective. Whether these positions can ever be reconciled remains uncertain. What appears clear is that William has made his calculation. The monarchy's future depends on clarity of purpose and consistency of standards. Personal relationships, however painful, cannot override institutional necessity. The crown will endure, William seems to be saying, but only if we're willing to make difficult choices about what it means and who represents it. History will judge whether his approach strengthened or strained the institution he will one day lead. For now, the heir to the throne has drawn his line, and it appears immovable.